So it's getting late in the afternoon on a fast day and the energy's low and everything doesn't feel, the best, super great. But it's easy to miss the point of a fast day. And it's so important and valuable not to. There's such beauty that lies in what a fast day is here to do for us. And there's really a very similar sort of the fundamental approach and perspective of a lot of the really newer empowering approaches to healing. Somatic healing is very much about this in general. German New Medicine is similar, although it's a little bit of a different take specifically. But these perspectives and modalities, they really put the power back in the hands of the patient, of the client, and they put us and our bodies on the same team. And the really big fundamental important shift here is that when we feel symptoms, when we feel discomfort, when we feel pain, we can look at those things as a problem to be solved and then ask, well, what prescription or what medication do I have to take to solve this problem, to make this go away? Or, and this is the approach of somatic healing and similar approaches to healing, which is to, rather than look at these symptoms as pain, as discomfort, as fatigue, etc., as problems to be solved, we can look at them as messages that our body is trying to communicate to us. When we feel pain and discomfort, when something feels a bit off, realizing that these are sensations that we're experiencing in our body, symptoms are things that are happening in our body, we can look at them as messages our body's trying to tell us. Our bodies are trying to bring our attention to things that maybe we need to be paying attention to, ways in which we need to be taking better care of ourselves. And sometimes our bodies will go so far as to force us to slow down and to rest because we're not listening to that messaging. And the moment that we stop seeing symptoms and we stop seeing the messages that our bodies are giving us as the enemy, and we start to see them as messages and see them as what they are, which is trying to serve us, that's the moment that we become on the same team as our bodies, rather than seeing our bodies as a problem to be solved. And that's the moment that everything changes. Everything completely changes. And that really is the same, that fundamental perspective is also true on a fast day. And it's very easy to miss the point of a fast, right? As fast days, when we don't eat and we don't drink, it can get very uncomfortable. It can get painful. We can feel really fatigued and low energy. Now, one way that we can approach that is to look at it as a problem to be solved. That, it's a fast day, it's uncomfortable, I'm tired, I don't have energy. What can I do to solve this? And it's understandable that a person will approach it that way, but when we approach it that way, we're really missing the point, and we're missing an opportunity as well. Because the point of a fast day, the reason that we fast, let's say today on Shiva Asaba Tammuz, we are fasting to, number one, commemorate, let's say, a number of terrible spiritual tragedies that happened. But the point of fasting is not just to commemorate, because that's just looking backwards, and that doesn't really have an objective. That would just, there's no value in doing something that's just facing back towards the past. The point of a fast day, and the reason that we commemorate this specifically by fasting, is because fasting makes us tired. Fasting forces us to slow down, and it makes that uncomfortable. And that, in a sense, those two things coming together is very powerful, because when we are forced to slow down and we feel uncomfortable, that's kind of, the perfect storm to set us up to look inside and to ask ourselves, are there places in my life are there places in our lives in which our day-to-day life does not reflect our true values, our deepest values, our highest values? The point of a fast day is not, and the point of the discomfort and the fatigue is not that it's a problem to be solved, and it's not there to just make us suffer, because that's not constructive. There's no value in that. The point is to get us to slow down and to give us some of that discomfort so that we can take the opportunity to slow down, and to look inside and to take the opportunity to see if there are places in which our day-to-day life has fallen out of sync with our truest values, and to then stop and ask ourselves, what are real actionable steps I can take to get those things back in sync, to get my daily life more in sync with my values. And that's the point. That's the point of a fast. The tiredness, the fatigue, the low energy, the discomfort, it's not there just for the sake of a negative experience. It's there as a means to an end. It's there to force us to slow down and to remind us and encourage us to take the opportunity to do some work and to look inside and to see how we can get tomorrow to be more in sync with our values than maybe yesterday was. That being said, I wish you that, and all of us, there's no reason why our fasts should be more difficult or uncomfortable than necessary, and they should be as smooth as they possibly can, and as comfortable as they possibly can. And this is a beautiful opportunity to go inside and to see how we can make tomorrow more in sync and aligned with our values than yesterday was. And that's a beautiful thing.